Well, good whatever time of day it is out there on the internet. For me right now, it's in the morning on Thursday, the 16th of April, and this is for the Sunday after Resurrection Sunday. I'm Jim Cason, Riverbend Baptist Church Adult Sunday School class, on significant biblical battles, a fairly long series dealing with not only the battles but how they affect us in our living today and what we can use to learn from them for spiritual warfare that's needed today. In the book of Joshua still, we're beginning to wrap up Joshua. He's older fella by now. It's chapter 13, starting with the first verse. Now Joshua was older, advanced in years, and the Lord said to him, "You're old, advanced in years, and there remains very much land yet to be possessed. This is the land that yet remains, all the territory of the Philistines, and all that of the Gershonites, from Sihor, which is east of Egypt, as far as the border of Ekron northward, which is counted as Canaanite, the 5 lords of the Philistines, the Gazites, the Ashdodites, the Ashkelonites, the Gittites, and the Ekronites, also the Avites. From the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mirah, that belongs to the Sidonians as far as Apec, to the border of the Amorites, the land of the Gebalites, and all Lebanon, toward the sunrise from Baal Gad below Mount Hernon, as far as the entrance to Hamath, all the inhabitants of the mountains from Lebanon, as far as the brook Misrephthoth, and all the Sidonians. Them I will drive out before you from the children of Israel, only divide it by lot to Israel as an inheritance, as I have commanded you. Now therefore divide this land as an inheritance to the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh." See, what's going on here is God knows very well that Joshua will not live long enough for Israel to conquer all the land. To be truthful, they never did completely conquer all the land that God gave them. It's a pretty huge amount of territory, especially compared to the amount of land they have in this present day. But He's a God of order, and this order includes figuring out who gets what. That's part of the divine plan. Moving on to Joshua 15, verse 13 through 19. Now to Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, he gave a share among the children of Judah, according to the commandment of the Lord to Joshua, namely Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron. Arba was the father of Anak. Caleb drove out the 3 sons of Anak from there, Shishai, Ahiman, and Talmai, the children of Anak. Then he went up from there to the inhabitants of Debir. Formerly the name of Debir was Kiriath Sepher. And Caleb said, "He who attacks Kiriath Sepher and takes it, to him I will give Ashak my daughter as wife." So Othniel the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him Ashah his daughter as wife. Now it was so that when she came to him that she persuaded him to ask her father for a field. So she dismounted from her donkey, and Caleb said to her, "What do you wish?" She answered, "Give me a blessing, since you've given me land in the south. Give me also springs of water." So he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. The significance of this is that the southern part, even of modern-day Israel, is much, much drier than the northern part, and it gets right on down into desert land, particularly close to the border with Egypt. So this young lady was smart enough to know that she was going to need springs of water as well as the land. Going on to Joshua 18, starting with verse 1. Now the whole congregation of the children of Israel assembled together at Shiloh. They set up the tabernacle of meeting there, and the land was subdued before them. But there remained among the children of Israel 7 tribes which had not yet received their inheritance. And then Joshua said to the children of Israel, "How long will you neglect to go and possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers has given you? Pick out from among you 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them. They shall rise and go through the land, survey it according to their inheritance, and come back to me. And they shall divide it into 7 parts. Judah shall remain in their territory on the south. The house of Joseph shall remain in their territory on the north. You shall therefore survey the land in 7 parts, and bring the survey here to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord our God. But the Levites have no part among you, for the priesthood of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh have received their inheritance beyond the Jordan on the east, which Moses the servant of the Lord gave them. And then the men arose to go away, and Joshua charged those who went to survey the land, saying, Go and walk through the land, survey it, and come back to me, that I may cast lots for you here before the Lord in Shiloh. Now, what's going on here is a division of the land. The people have not yet taken the land. There remains battles, numerous battles, as they take it. And some of it, as I said, they will never actually take. But it's been allotted to them. It hasn't yet been signified which tribe gets what parts. So they will go out and survey all of this land, and they will come back and they will plot it out and determine 7 different parts of the land, and then the Lord will provide the answer. That's what the lot means. It's a method that was used for determining the will of God as to which tribe gets what. Verse 9, So the man went. They passed through the land and wrote the survey as in a book in 7 parts by cities, and they came to Joshua at the camp in Shiloh. Then Joshua cast lots for them in Shiloh before the Lord, and there Joshua divided the land to the children of Israel according to their divisions. So now the land has been divided. It hasn't yet been taken. There's a lot of them that are still living right where the main encampment is, but they're supposed to divide out because the families are going to continue to grow and continue to need more land. And again, it's a matter of order. Joshua 19, verses 49. When they made an end of dividing the land as an inheritance according to their borders, the children of Israel gave an inheritance among them to Joshua the son of Nun. According to the word of the Lord, they gave him the city which he asked for, Timnath-Serah, in the mountains of Ephraim, and he built his city there and dwelled in it. These were the inheritances which Eleazar the priest, Joshua the son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel divided as an inheritance by lot in Shiloh before the Lord, at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. So they made an end to dividing the land. And as we go on, in Joshua 21, starting with verse 43, So the Lord gave to Israel all the land of which he had sworn to give to their fathers, and they took possession of it and dwelled in it. And the Lord then gave them rest all around, according to all that he had sworn to their fathers. Not a man of all their enemies stood against them. The Lord delivered all their enemies into their hand. Not a word failed of any good thing which the Lord had spoken to the house of Israel. All came to pass. That last sentence is very important. When God makes a promise, he's a promise keeper. Every time, all the time, in every way. Now you got to be careful with that. If he puts a but in there and you don't pay attention to that but, then the promise is conditional upon something you either do or don't do that you were told to do. But we can look forward to that in our battles today. Sometimes the battles really seem oppressive. I know right now, hey, I'm going stir crazy like all the rest of you to some extent, but I get up every day. I'm thankful for one more day before the Lord. And even if I do have to stay home most of the time right now, I'm still out here redeeming the time, trying to get the work done that I need to do, the things that are needed around the house, and also what God has told me to do in various ways. And that's what we do. We fight the battles every single day. And we're fighting a spiritual battle right now in this country as to many, many things. One of them is against this disease, the coronavirus. That really is a spiritual battle. I firmly believe that this is something the Lord allowed and permitted to try to convince the world to go towards him. Another thing is for our leaders to have good sense and make good decisions. It's not much good to save all the people, or as many of the people as you can, from the virus in order for the economic system to totally fail and nobody to have anything left worth anything and to have to go back to nomadic tent living. I don't think I'd enjoy that very much. Don't think you would either. So pray for wisdom and pray against Satan and his minions that would attempt to divide us further. Now, in a list of prayers, as I was saying, pray for the wisdom of the national governments, the state governments, the local governments, the cities, the counties, the provinces, to neither underreact nor overreact to this pandemic. Prayer and fasting by God's people. Pray for our church leaders, including the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the pastors, the teachers, the worship leaders and teams, the children's ministries. Pray also for those that don't have online access to broadcast and other online services. There's a lot of resources that are available, most of which, in a lot of cases, were not available before this thing happened. I never thought of doing the class online until a situation arose that I could not do it in person. And many, many others are like that. Many ministries have just switched over. The building may be empty, but that doesn't mean God's people have to quit. That doesn't mean God's ministers have to quit. So be praying that people will be inspired in what to do on this and how to do it. Pray for the medical and emergency personnel, the doctors, the nurses, the techs, the other healthcare workers. I know I read this morning in the news that in one particular area of the country there were nurses that had been kind of put aside because they're saying we need N95 masks while we're seeing the coronavirus patients. I mean, you're issuing them to the doctors, but you're expecting us to go in without that protection. And the special thing about an N95, by the way, is that it's a much more tight filter. It filters down particles down to the micron level that are much, much smaller than go through an ordinary mask. I mean, the mask I'm wearing, when I go out, it's basically made out of a cloth-like material, and large stuff, the virus itself for that matter, can go through it. It's mostly really to help other people that I'm wearing one, because if I cough, it kind of absorbs most of that, and that's the purpose of that. But that's not good enough for the purpose when they're treating people. And we need to pray that these things will be made available to them so they can do their work and so they can help God's people and the other people. Pray for the police and firefighters and EMT. They've got a difficult job to do right now at this point in time. The public's not real happy to begin with. And if you're sitting home thinking, I haven't got any work to do right now, be praying also for those people that are out there working to help supply you with groceries. You know, if it wasn't for those grocery store workers, we were not like during the Great Depression, my grandparents and great-great-parents were on farms, and they were able to grow most of the food that they needed. They had hogs. They had a hog killing time to time. They grew it. They saved what they grew. They ate it. The community shared the stuff around. Well, our society, for the most part, doesn't work like that now. We need those truck drivers. Pray for them. We need those people in the wholesalers. We need those people in the grocery stores, those people in the pharmacies, those people in the other stores. Hey, if you have a child coming, you're going to need a baby seat for that child. You need to have it before the child gets there because you need to have a way to carry the child home from the hospital. Pray for all these things. And pray for understanding and patience by the public. And pray that the authorities don't use this pandemic for political purposes and that the courts will speedily vacate any such orders. So that's what I've got to say this morning. God bless you. Have a great day. Have a specially blessed day. And Lord willing, see you next time.